Hey everybody, it's Skeeter with Experience Wild, and welcome to our first podcast. We've got John Cedar.
What's going on, everybody? Skeet, good to see you.
Yeah, man, good to see you. I'm glad that we are the two that are on the first podcast, since we are the two hosts of Experience Wild. Uh, we wanted to give everybody a little bit of an insight as to what we are and what we are going to do with this channel. So, with the podcast, we are going to be a very mobile podcast. We're going to take you along on hunting and fishing, camping adventures that we have, foraging, anything wild, anything to do with the outdoors. I myself spend a lot of time in the outdoors. John also with our families. Um, I'm I think my background is I have always done outdoors. Been part of the outdoor industry, not on a humongous scale, but I think, and along with John too, I'll let you tell, let him tell his story. But I've owned an outdoor pro shop. I have been in the bow hunting world, in the fishing world. Um, it's just something that I'm passionate about and like to do. So, John, how about you?
Yeah, no, I mean, Experience Wild has been a passion of mine for a very, very long time. We've had a little bit of a hiatus, as life sometimes seemingly gets in the way with young kids and just, busy, busy lifestyle and jobs and things of that nature. But, an avid outdoorsman, such as yourself, love spending time out in the woods, love being on the water, fishing. Um, and I'm excited now that we're getting back into the full swing here with Experience Wild and really kind of revamping, the model, if you would. The cool thing about Experience Wild is it can be anything. And I think that's what, really kind of reignited the passion and the vigor for wanting to do this again is that, it can be whatever we or you know what I mean, want it to be. Um, and yeah, I mean, I'm just super pumped to get this thing going again with the podcast, and then with you with your fishing reports. Like you had mentioned, being mobile, the ability to do, foraging. Taking your little one out fishing. Over at Snug for a little bit and catching some perch or bluegills, and being able to do it on this platform in particular, I think is going to present some really unique opportunities and some really creative content. And I couldn't be more pumped about it, man.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I think it's going to be big, and I think to explain people that are going to hear this first one as we post, um, we really it is our goal to have all of our platforms tied together. So our Facebooks are tied to YouTube, YouTube's tied to the podcast. You can get the podcast on everywhere that you listen to your podcasts. And when you hear it, it will kind of draw you to different areas. Um, Part of our YouTube channel will be obviously the podcast. We do have a gear gauntlet. So the gear gauntlet is where we engage with manufacturers and or distributors of certain sporting goods, outdoor equipment, things that you need and are going to purchase no matter what. We're going to try it out. We're going to try it out. We're going to do unboxing of things. We're going to put it through a test, and we're going to see what those breaking points are, just to let you know that you're spending your money correctly. I'm going to tell you that we probably are going to break just about everything. Probably go to crazy measures to make sure everything is broken. Um, I think we've got a running joke between the friends group that you will meet here that are all professionals in the industry. If you want it broke, you give it to Skeet, and Skeet will break it. So,
Yep.
um, yeah,
Yeah, I think I'm really looking forward to that myself personally. I want to see some of the creative ways that you're going to destroy stuff. I know as we've kind of brainstormed some ideas, some of this stuff's going to be really fun to watch and be a part of. So it's going to be pretty cool.
yeah, no, for sure. I think we'll go to extreme measures to make sure that we put through the ringer. So there is the gear gauntlet. We're definitely going to want to bring you up to speed on what's happening around Michigan, and I think that that'll flow right into um, our talks and what we're doing with the podcast. It's really what's happening around Michigan as we grow and grow bigger than Michigan. Michigan is obviously our focus, right
Yeah,
now. That's
good
where we
point,
are.
man. Yeah, good point. I was just gonna say, we're both Michigan boys, so obviously there's a lot to do here. But as we do continue to grow and develop, I think there'll be some other opportunities to expand outside of the state. And, we do have, a lot of our crew and a lot of, our really good friends that, hunt outside of the state, where we can rely on for some information as well. So I think that's another great thing that we've got coming in the pipe here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I spend time out of state hunting and fishing every single year, but really it is my backyard. And I think Experience Wild and us being mobile is really to let people know that every moment that you have to be able to get out in the outdoors, you should be in the outdoors,
Hmm.
including the time on podcasts. If it's conducive to your lifestyle, you should be listening to the podcast when you're out in a stream or you're out in the woods or you're sitting around a campfire, and learning with us how to do things and how to maximize that time. And we got that whole thing that we say in the group of maximum meat. It's like we're hunters and fishermen and foragers, and it's like where where do my memories get generated, and where do the freezer and the table get full, and it's really just maximizing your time, being
Yeah.
super optimistic.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that, again, I mean, it just goes back to that whole point of, what we do and what we want this to be. We've got a lot of other cool things that are coming as well, like the website, the ability to get some of the cool design shirts that, you've spent a lot of time creating some really excellent, designs, like the cedar trout. Um, maybe you could explain that a little bit to people so that people don't think it's a trout named after me, but the actual cedar tree.
Yeah, I think when I first said it and said, "I made a cedar trout," and it's and the cedar trees, and John spells his last name with a S. So and this, um, but yeah, cedar and trout are one of those things that it's very very Michigan when I think of Michigan, and trout is one of
Yep.
those things that I really like to chase. We definitely don't want to focus on the stuff that we're as individuals really really into, but I think it's tough to find something that I'm not into. I
Too.
spend spend a
Yep.
tremendous time really trying to hone my craft and really keep it super wide, because I'm very much about that opportunistic thing. I've made a lot of videos on the side of a river when I've been trout fishing where I end up foraging. And it's, take it as you can get it, and
Hmm.
try to stay open minded and not so focused. I know we've got a lot of people that are on the Experience Wild page that are multifaceted outdoors people, really like to camp and to hike and to forage, and fishing and hunting are part of that.
Yep.
um and and we want people to stay opportunistic, like maximize your time, get outside. Us being in Michigan, I think it seems pretty natural that we stick with our Michigan based stuff here, right, to start out, but we will
Yep.
quickly, I believe, switch gears and move into others uh territories, and learn from them.
Yeah. 100%. And actually, I mean, now that you mention it, I mean, turkey's in full swing over here right now. We've got, well, the bear and elk tag. Uh, application period just started. What, on the 1st,
Yep.
and and runs through till June 1st, I believe, is the deadline for the application for to get your bear elk tag.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I mean, I just did that. I just did that. What, 2 days ago? Put in
Yeah.
for
It's
my
one of
put in for form again.
definitely have to do it when the email comes out and says, "Hey, just a reminder, this is those things that you have to do." Like our bear and our elk are kind of on a point system. The point system for the bear is a little bit different and a little bit tricky. I think that some people don't understand exactly how it works. You can every year that you put in, if you are unsuccessful, you receive a point, and in the different areas that you go to, you have to have a certain amount of points to be able
Yep.
to draw. So UP, where there is a higher population of bear, there are more hunters, but there's a higher population of bear, and where you might only need one or two preference points to draw a tag. Like my area that I've been wanting to draw for the last 11 years is the Baldwin area. For my own reasons, I hunt that for deer, so I know where some bears are. It's actually really close, so I can run stands. I've just been putting in, instead of going to the UP every year and you know getting that tag and going and
Yep.
hanging out with my buddies who've been up there. Like, I've been super jealous of them coming back with bears. I really, really want to get one of those Baldwin bears, but they're telling me as of right now it takes 14 points to draw in that area. So I will actually put in for it this year, but I don't expect to draw. Um, Hopefully everybody understands how the point system works, but if you
Yep.
don't, I mean, the Michigan DNR does a pretty decent job of explaining that point system and what it takes in certain areas. So definitely jump on their website, which is mdnr .com, and they will be able to point you in the right direction. If you've put in before and haven't received a license, you can check your licenses, download the digests, and look at reports and surveys, and hopefully that helps you in selecting your right place to put in for your points, or try to get a tag to go out bear hunting.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm in the same boat as you. I mean, Red Oaks is where I've been trying to draw for the last, I think, 10 years.
Well, you might be close, brother, because it's 11 right now.
Dude, I mean, but I feel like, and you probably feel the same way, I feel like every year that number just continually goes up higher and higher. I mean, I feel like it's been chasing me ever since I've been applying. At one point in time, it was like 7 or 8, and then it was like 8 or 9, then it was like 9 or 10, and now it's like 11 or 12 or whatever. I'm like, man, I don't know if I'm ever going to draw one. I feel like I got a better chance of getting an elk tag. But I will
Well,
say,
and I hope that it's because there's more bear hunters, or there's more
right.
people that are interested in doing that.
Well,
It's
and it's an interesting dynamic, and I know we've talked about this before, but like I feel like in certain areas, like where I'm going, it's club country, right? And nobody up there, you know what I mean when I say club country. These guys come up, they deer
yep.
hunt for like 2 or 3 days, and then they disappear. And there's thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands of acres up there, and nobody does anything but deer hunt, right? So there's turkeys, there's bear, there's bobcats, there's deer. I mean, there's everything, right? So there in our area in particular, there's a lot of bears, and there's a lot of very large bears. I know I told you this story, but there was a 662 pounder that was shot a quarter mile from the entrance or gate of our club, and this was a bear that we had seen on camera, that I had personally witnessed myself while up in the tree stand deer hunting. And I'm like, man, this is my bear. This is my bear. Someday I'll get it. Someday I'll get it. Someday I'll get it. And then, this young lady ended up drawing a bear tag, and ended up getting that bear. But there's still plenty of other big Bruins up there. But it's like, man, in that particular area where they do some damage to, like, the siding of our cabin, they try to get in, they can't. But it's like, up there, you're held to, just like anybody else would be that would be hunting, state land or national forest up there. Um, but it's tough, man. I wish they would make some exceptions sometimes to, conditions like that, but obviously it's understandable that they don't. But I will say that once I draw that bear tag, I probably never will apply there again. I'll go up to the UP and go hunt with your buddies every other year or whatever.
Yeah, that's the tough thing.
Right.
I've gone so far down the road with points at this point that I can't turn back. Like I have to
Oh
stay
yeah.
on this course.
Yep.
But
I'm doing the same
it,
thing, man. Doing the same thing.
yeah, I figure I'll be able to get this one time. I'll be able to hunt this, and then I'll just start going up north and
Yep.
bow hunt these bears, and it just it probably won't happen again. If you get more
Yep.
hunters and in this area, like you said, where it keeps creeping up, it's like, okay, so next time it might be 16 points. So
Right.
I add another 15 years on top of when I get one this time.
Right.
Might not want to bear hunt. I might not want to go and do all that. So I'm gonna stay, opportunistic and go. It's my only chance to get this one for the Baldwin area,
Yep.
and be successful. But after that, like you said, I'm probably heading to the UP with the boys, and
Yep.
every couple of years get bear camp because it seems a lot easier. And then the elk thing. It's like if you
Yeah.
get an elk tag, you're never gonna get another one. Well, except for that
Right.
one guy ended up getting a couple of them, which complete crap as far as I'm concerned. But
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that guy should be playing the lottery. He should be playing the Mega Millions and the Powerball to have that much luck to get multiple tags
yeah,
in a one lifetime is pretty crazy. I mean, there's people that apply their entire life and don't even see an elk tag. You know what I mean? So it's like I don't know. I mean, I don't. I guess I don't. You know, use it. I guess I don't think of it too much as like I will draw one or I won't draw one. I think of it as like, okay, here's my donation, for my application every year, and enjoy that, because I know it goes back towards the community and parks and things of that nature. So I guess it's still a good cause regardless. But yeah, I just don't know. I mean, I cautiously optimistic, I guess, that I'll get one someday, but I'm not going to hold my breath.
oh no, absolutely. Like I would love to have an elk tag, and I think that um my wife would probably not love for me to have an elk tag because as soon as I found out I had one, I would freak out. I'd be obsessed for a Michigan elk tag and
Yep.
be
I
putting
would
ridiculous. That.
amount of time in. Yeah, I mean, I'd be as soon as that season opened, man, I wouldn't come back until I got one. And that's how I'll be with my bear tag when I get it too. I mean, as soon as I get that, I mean, I know I got the archery season, I got the gun season for it. So if I don't feel it during the archery, I'll go back for the gun. And
Yep.
I mean, I'm gonna stay up there until I'll probably look like Grizzly Adams worse than I do right now.
Yeah,
you
I know
know,
that tags work a little bit different in Michigan. So you're
uh,
gonna every year that you apply, you get an extra drop in the bucket, I guess per se. So if we think of it
yeah,
like tickets, the first year you apply, you get your name in once. Here you
yep,
get two, continue to go and go. So I think I'm on crazy year like 18, 19, 20, somewhere in there. It's been going in for a long time. And they kind of revamped that program um a while back. It's probably 12, 13 years ago now. They revamped that program to give people a better chance to continually put in. And then, with our pure Michigan hunt, same thing. Just keep
yeah,
keep buying those $5 lottery tickets. But I'm a sucker for a lottery ticket. I love it.
yeah. Yep. No, that's some cool stuff. Another thing I was thinking about too, Skeet, is obviously when we, uh, you know, put this podcast out on, YouTube or wherever else it ends up going, I know for YouTube, for example, or even on the Facebook page or Instagram, if there's topics that you guys want to hear or that you want us to cover or, product, for example, that you want, Skeeter to beat the living crap out of, make sure you're commenting on the video so we can start looking into some of that stuff, researching, finding the right avenues of people to bring onto the podcast as we continually develop our content pool. We've got some great ideas too, but it might not necessarily be what you want to hear on. So if you have any ideas and we think it's a good one, or something that's viable to bring somebody on the podcast and have a conversation with them, we're all about that. And I think that's one of the things that you're going to find about us is we're very open to, again, everything, pretty much outdoors. We're not limited to anything. So we're interested in exploring a lot of different things. Um, so yeah, so feel free to leave some comments in there and let us know what you think too. Um, and as we continue to grow and develop this, we want to take everyone out there on an incredible journey with us. So yeah, sorry, I just wanted to mention that real quick.
No, absolutely, man. Absolutely. We've got some cool products that have been funneled our way. Like I'm sitting next to dozens of dynamic lures from Dynamic Lure. Um, those guys are awesome. They treat me well. They send baits when I need baits, and we're going to do a review. And but we're not married to anything, so I
Yeah,
guess that's the beauty of get an honest review. Like
yeah,
there's a lot of product reviewers out there that do the this is cool, and they give me a lot of free stuff, and that's why I'm going to say it's cool, because I want to continue the free stuff. Like, we're not married to anything.
right.
I can take these things and I'm gonna break them, and to be able to tell a manufacturer, like, look, I'm gonna break your stuff, like, I'm
Yeah,
going to, it
yeah,
might survive. It might be able to survive, Joe Blow fisherman for 3-4 years on a lure, and that's good. You want that for your guy that's going out. I want that for everybody. If I can sell a lure to somebody, I'm going to want them to have it for a short period of time because they use it so much and it gets broken. But we want you guys to be able to know where those limits are. Where
yep,
where is it going to break?
yeah. Like when you
Um,
run it over with your pickup truck and it gets cracked in
yeah,
half, but you don't have any other lures, but you still want to fish with it. Maybe it'll still catch fish. You don't know.
right, right, right. And no, huge. You like it to say, I can bounce this lure off of a log, and I can only do that twice before
Mhm.
it breaks. Be one that you go, maybe I need to seek an alternative.
Right.
And me, John. I owned a pro shop. I'm a peg buyer, so when I walk
Yep.
into a place, I buy the peg. I'm always afraid that I'm going to find something that I like
Yep.
and not get it again.
Well,
And I
yeah.
never I just don't fit in the mold with the guys that go, "Well, I
Well,
tried this."
and you owning a bait shop, you know how I was too when I would come in there. If I would catch one fish on one lure, I'd buy out the entire freaking color selection of just about everything you had in there. I'm the same way, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like if it works, it works. You know what I mean? I mean, I didn't
Yeah.
even have a salmon boat, and I was buying giant salmon spoons and paddles and all kinds of stuff because I'm like, yeah, I want to try catching fish with this. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. I'm a bulk buyer,
Yep.
and so are you. Like to have the stuff kind of in stock. When it works, it works. And
Yep.
um, we're more buying for the next season than we are, to buy a lure to go fishing that day.
Yep.
But as a researching things, we want to be able to have that source to be able to give them, to say this is what it is, and this is its limits. I don't think
Yeah.
that product companies are good at telling you where the limit is.
Right. Yeah. No, it's true. True and exciting stuff coming down the line here. You know what I mean? I'm excited for it. I think it's gonna be different and interesting and unique, and yeah,
Yeah,
it'll be a good time. It will be.
absolutely. And I don't think it won't be just fishing lures. It'll be the camping stuff,
Yep.
and the foraging stuff, and hunting things, and uh I'm constantly tinkering. I'm building a better mousetrap all the time.
Yep.
It's actually building today, and building a new gimbal, um, to wear my phone to do the podcast when I trout fish, or when I go hiking. So it's a lot of research into that stuff, and
R&D, baby.
getting things
R&D.
all, all the time. R&D, R&D.
Well, what else we got? What else we got? So I know we have talked about doing some potential giveaways. Once we start hitting some milestone marks, um, with the podcast and obviously with our social media. The crazy thing is that we've both had two successful social media brands for a while. I mean, you with Snug Harbor and now Skeeters Fishing Report, and then of course with Experience Wild and kind of blending the communities together. To a certain point. I think that we're like I said we're re-engaging our audiences at a level now where it's going to take some time to kind of build things back up to where they used to be and continually to continue to grow that. But we both said it. Challenge accepted. Let's go. Let's give the people what they want. And so we're turning it back on, and we're super pumped and excited about it. Um, so yeah, I mean, I'm just happy to be doing this ride with you, Skeet. I mean, this has been a long time coming for the both of us, and I couldn't be more happy about the situation we're in right now.
Yeah, man. No, I'm super pumped about it. I think it's been actually almost a little bit obsessive about it over the last number of months. Like how do we do it? How do we put it together?
Yeah,
And then through brute force, really pushing the thing down the road and saying, we got to do this and putting those punch lists together to say we've got to get this portion, this portion, this portion. And
yep,
I think that even right now, this early podcast, before we're absolutely set up, like I'm sitting in our podcast studio,
right,
um, which have a home studio and it's all set up, but we're actually trying this new platform to see how well our mobile application is going to work, and we're going to be able to record when we're out doing things. So of course it's absolutely a mess, but the the studio's right here. It is covered
yeah,
with fishing lures and all of the recording equipment and sound equipment, like standard podcast should be.
yep,
But making that mobile thing, it was very important to us to be able to get everybody outside. But yeah, kind of bringing all of those communities together. I think that the decision to close Snug Harbor was a very bittersweet one for me. I like being in sporting goods retail. I love doing the fishing report. That was actually probably my biggest, the most exciting thing for me. I mean, no one wants to go to work to, you know, sell things, but it was that engagement with those local fishermen and all the friends that I have in the industry because of my position there. Um, it's huge, and I don't want to let that go. Um, don't want to leave the industry. Definitely am still relevant because I'm still repping a bunch of companies. Um, but yeah, we're just gonna continue doing it and bring people into the fold. I think that's our goal, right? Is like
yep,
get people outside and make sure that with the limited time that you have nowadays, you're going to be successful. And probably hear me say that 10,000 times because it's how I live my life and how John lives his. Like we have to be
yep,
as successful as we can possibly be with the limited amount of time that we have. And hopefully you listen to this podcast and you learn from our mistakes and are able to capitalize on our successes.
yeah,
And we want to capitalize on your successes too and learn from your mistakes. So and we want to celebrate with you when you do have a success. So make sure you're sending those success stories and sharing pictures with us. We love sharing that stuff. We're definitely two of those guys that when our buddies succeed, we succeed.
yep,
No jealousy of the big butt. Well, there's always going to be a little bit of jealousy. Like but we I take. we will not take anything away from any animals that you harvest, any fish that you catch, anything that you find out in the woods. Like it will be absolute success, that we will celebrate with you. So
Yeah.
please send those pictures and stories in. We want to hear.
Yep.
We want to be part of it.
Yeah. 100%. And I think that that's it's almost kind of like a a family, right? So we want to
Absolutely.
all share in that experience with each other, and maybe we do like a bragging board type thing, at some point in time. With experience wild, we could do that with the fish catches. We could do it with hunting successes. We could do it with your haul from the foraging. Yeah, I think there's unlimited opportunity here, and this is just going to only get better. It's only going to get bigger, and it's only going to get better. But it's also important to know. So, like Skeet was saying, this all started, with him owning a bait shop, and that's actually how we met. Um, was actually on a fishing trip, and then coming back to the bait shop, and but that just goes to show you the how tight this community is, the outdoor industry, not industry really, but the outdoors in general. um, and how we have just a lot in common, and some of the best friendships have been made or created over getting outside and just doing what you want to do and having fun. It's a passion, and you're going to find there's a lot of other passionate people out there besides myself and Skeet. And they're amazing people with amazing stories, and we're hoping that we can capture some of those memories and stories from people, and bring them on, and have it here for everyone in the world to see. So
Yeah, it's when you build that database of friends. Like I've got my friends that are into certain things, and they're pretty nichey with the outdoors, where they like to go,
yeah.
um, and you'll find that like you get those guys that are niche. They'll say, "I am a walleye fisherman,"
Yep.
or "I am a fisherman," and then you've got the opposite ends of the guys that kind of talk crap about the other guys. You've seen the way that I talk crap about the guys who bass fish, and I got some
Yeah.
buddies who bass fish that are really really into it,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Well, I told you. I
you know
told
it.
you. I told you, Skeet. One of my goals is to get you to catch one of them ditch pickles, man. And you're gonna hold it.
You
You're gonna hold it too without
yeah,
gloves.
yeah, and I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna wash with bleach, but I will. I will absolutely do it. Like I will do it. I will get out there and I will get a bass on the line on purpose. Like I catch them all the time, but
Well, I
you know,
wanna I wanna
you
step up the game a little bit, man. I wanna do some challenges. Like I want Skeeter to do a bass fishing tournament, not just go catch one
oh
bass. I want to throw down the gauntlet, and then you got to take me out of my comfort zone. You got to give me a challenge outside of my comfort zone.
yeah, yeah,
I
no,
think
I
it would be
we
fun,
can
man.
do that.
And we got some buddies that I think would be game for some of this too. But I think it's creative, and I think it would be a good time, to do something that we normally wouldn't do. Right, step outside of the box, and just try some new, interesting, challenging stuff that we've never really done. I mean, I can catch fish, but there's things out there that would challenge me that like I've never been challenged before, and I'd like to accept the challenge. So
Yeah, yeah, it sounds fun. I mean, I'd be game. I'd be game for just about anything. I think uh, I think I've hunted just about everything that you could hunt in Michigan.
yeah.
Besides besides an elk, because I haven't drawn that tag. We don't want to go back down that road, eh, but everything else I've hunted, fish, trapped. I think all of that you're allowed to, and my wife is a forager. Like she loves to forage. I think her and my daughter were out today looking for some morels. If you're if you're into morels and ramps are up right now. So
What about
um,
wild asparagus? Is that popping yet, or still a little too early?
I think it is. getting started. And the thing with wild asparagus is like once it goes,
It's go.
like it goes,
Yeah.
man. Like that ditch asparagus it goes quick.
Yep.
I don't know if I've ever located a reproductive area that I've found wild asparagus. You know,
Gotcha.
I guess I've found it in the woods, like close to fields where I know asparagus fields are, where like
Yeah.
I've been, walking a river that goes through a farmer's field and go, look, wild asparagus, and pick it. I'm not sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've seen it in ditches over here by me. I mean, one time I drove by, like it was like a giant patch of it, and I turned around, and when I turned around, there was a dude there with a pickup truck. Like I kid you not, like that, and it was only a
Oh,
couple
really?
minutes. Yeah, and I was like, "Dang, man!" Like the one time I found it, and that was the last time I ever saw it. I never saw it there again. I don't know if it, comes back every year in the same spot, or if that guy just uprooted the whole thing and threw it in the back of his truck. I don't know, but it's it looks like a little
Well, and I
asparagus tree.
yeah, yeah, no, and I think asparagus like works like similar to like a hops, like it grows off of a root system
Yeah.
and it will grow off of that root system year after year.
Yep.
And like growing up where I did in West Michigan, we as children picked a lot of uh vegetables, a lot of fruit, and asparagus was one of those ones that you absolutely hated, man, because you could like in the right conditions in the early summer, it was like you could pick an asparagus field in the morning, and by the time you
Yeah.
got done, it was almost ready to pick again. Like it grew like wildfire, and
Yeah.
it was like delivering the mail. Especially for a kid, I sit on that dang tractor and ride that thing around picking the asparagus, and then at the end of the day, turn around and wipe the sweat from your brow and go, "Oh my gosh, it's full
Yeah.
again."
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy, man.
So yeah, no, it is crazy, but we're definitely um gonna cover a lot of things,
Hmm.
and there's gonna be cool stuff, and I think we're gonna talk about it all. But if you are looking for morels, I'm in my opinion in my area, West Michigan, um, West Mid Michigan. Black morels are almost done. Stems are getting long, tops are getting small, things are drying back, and the whites are up. So, um, make sure that you're out there looking for the whites or the grays. They are up and just starting. So as this grass comes up, they'll get harder and harder to find. Um, so yeah, that's I think where we're at with foraging. I think we're kind of at the point in the program where we would normally switch gears and go into Skeeter's fishing report.
Yep.
And so Skeeter's fishing report will be recorded elsewhere and plugged into the podcast. But we will go ahead and um, you got anything else you want to cover today, John?
No, man. I mean, I'm just looking forward to getting this done on a consistent basis and just having some fun with it, man, and just kind of just doing some stuff off the cusp and just talking about the great outdoors, man. I don't. I'm just excited to be here, man, and doing this with you, brother. And
Yeah,
I'm excited about all the topics that we're going to be getting and covering, and spending some time doing out in the field and just having a good old time, man.
yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. I think for all the listeners that are out there, we are planning this on being a weekly podcast. I think that it will be posted like today. We are recording on Wednesday, but I believe we're planning on posting it on Wednesdays. These first couple might not be edited the best because we're kind of getting our feet wet with the whole editing process of this. So please stick with us and know that we've got some good things coming and invested in some stuff that's going to make everything look, sound the way that you like to receive it.
Yep.
And if you have any suggestions, please let us know. We're always open to that. We're not a rigid bunch that says this is the way it is and this is the
Right. Well, and I think another
I guess,
thing that that we want to do too, Ski, then that we've talked about doing is maybe even doing not all of them in this type of format, but maybe doing some live streamed as well. We're looking into some platforms where we can do that and house some people, and then obviously be able to be interactive, right? Get
Yeah.
questions asked while we're chatting and kind of shooting the shit, and just kind of rolling with it, man. And then, we can even have, other guests brought in and do the same exact thing. So I think there's a lot of opportunity here for us to really kind of hone in on a bunch of different avenues and just have a blast doing it. So,
Yeah, absolutely. I'm appreciative to have the opportunity and the platform, and to have good friends surrounding me that want to be on this journey with us.
yep,
And you, I mean, you've got John is actually on the other side of the state from me,
yeah,
so we've been a long time, but we don't actually live very close to each other. So it's cool to see different perspectives from different places, even within the state that we live in. So
for sure.
I think good things coming. We will post this along with the video of Skeeter's fishing report this week. Skeeter's fishing report comes out on Fridays, so we have last week's report for this coming up weekend. That we will post alongside of this. Hopefully, everybody can get into that, and in future, we will kind of extend that Skeeter's fishing report and give a little bit more detail. So I always say that Skeeter's fishing report gets people in the spot, and right now we know that walleye are winding down, still going strong, but winding down over in the Detroit River. The bays have picked up. Walleye opener, trout opener, pike opener was uh, last weekend, the last Saturday in April for Michigan. Lots of anglers out. I got lots of reports back in. Big Lake is a little slow. When I say the Big Lake, I'm talking about Lake Michigan because it's one in my backyard. But we're surrounded by big lakes here in Michigan. I don't get a lot of salmon reports from the other side, east side walleyes, west side salmonoid. Um, but guys are going out. Cohos have been pretty strong uh, all throughout this spring. I think I saw more cohos caught this spring than I've ever seen. So thank you, Wisconsin, for your addition to the population with the stocking that you do. And the winds were just blowing the right way, and we reap the benefits this spring. And hopefully, the Michigan DNR gets back on a stocking program that we missed the last couple of years, and I'm not sure why, but we'll definitely be looking into it, and hopefully be having some guests on here who can give us some insight as to why the DNR decided to do that or not to do that for the last couple of years. Um, so we will have guests, and we will be dynamic with it, and have guests that are all the way across the board. Anything wild. So, um, John, you got anything you want to close out with?
No, I mean, I think we're all waiting for the your typical ending that you do. Uh,
Yeah, man.
and I want to
I
throw
think
my name in there.
what's that?
I've always wanted to say my name in this. That's what I got.
Y-
I'm Skeeter.
Yeah,
And I'm John. And
yeah,
we're out of here.
yeah, and that's it. So that's how we end everyone. That's how we end the fishing report, and that's how we will end the Experience Wild podcast. We appreciate everybody tuning in for these first podcasts,
Yeah.
and we're looking forward to more. This is Experience Wild and Skeeter's Fishing Report. That's what I got. I'm Skeeter,
And I'm John.
and I'm out of here.
See ya.